Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane's first feature film, Ted, is the story of a man and his teddy bear who comes to life as the result of a childhood wish.
Magic vanished from our world a long time ago. But if there's one thing you can be sure of,
I wish you could really talk to me.
it's that nothing is more powerful than a young boy's wish.
You're my best friend, John. I love you.
But eventually, everyone grows up.
When I first heard about Ted, I thought that it was a good idea and that it could be a great, hilarious movie, especially because I'm personally a fan of Family Guy in general. I'm not a diehard fan at all, but I think it's funny, and I do find myself laughing out loud quite often when I watch it. And so I thought, you know, in those hands, this could be a great movie. And then the first trailer came out, and I thought, never mind, it looked really bad to me. However, now that I have seen Ted, I have to say that it is definitely considerably better than the trailers make it look, to me, once again, but it's definitely not as good as I initially thought it could be. First of all, the plot, as I said earlier, is very basically Mark Wahlberg's character had a teddy bear when he was a kid, or was given a teddy bear when he was a kid. He wished for it to come to life, and it did, and it stayed with him, and aged, I guess, sort of with him as far as teddy bears can age. And it's basically, the teddy bear is a Boston guy. It's just like Mark Wahlberg in the movie. So that right there is entertaining, but I was worried that it would be basically the entire movie stuff that isn't funny unless it's coming from a teddy bear. You know what I mean? So like if you replace the teddy bear with a man, then nothing would be funny. That's what I was worried about. And for a little while, it is like that, but luckily it does not rely on the fact that Ted is a teddy bear. And the good thing is that the movie goes on being funny and, you know, the story goes on without it relying on every comedic bit coming from the fact that he's a teddy bear. I mean, that obviously is a portion of it, and that's the point of the movie. It's a teddy bear that is like a raunchy teddy bear, but it's more than that. It's actually got some heart to it, and it's got good character development, so I was very surprised about that. I didn't really know exactly what the plot was, because as far as I had seen from any trailers or anything, all they really showed was just the bear and Mark Wahlberg interacting and showing that the bear was a crazy, wacky bear. I was worried the movie was going to be just the antics of the bear, and that's it, but it actually had a story. As far as the directing goes, I thought it was well put together, and I have to say I was surprised at the lack of cutaways, because I thought being from Seth MacFarlane there would be a lot. In a movie that might have been weird, but actually I know there was one that I can think of off the top of my head, but I guess there might have been a couple. Actually maybe even just the one that I'm thinking of. I can't think of any more, but I'm not going to limit it to the one just in case I'm wrong. And it was funny. I actually thought it worked, but I'm glad that it wasn't just like a live action episode of Family Guy. Some of it felt like that. Especially as you see in the trailer when Mark Wahlberg is listing all the white trash names, and that kind of reminded me of something that Family Guy would have, like a long scene like that. But it worked. It actually worked, and I think Seth MacFarlane realized, like, not all of the stuff we do on Family Guy is going to work in a live-action movie, and so good for him. I'm glad that he didn't just fall back on the usual stuff. And acting-wise, I thought everybody was good enough for what the movie's worth. You know, it's obviously just a goof, fun movie. I thought Mark Wahlberg and Mila Kunis did a fine job. Nothing impressive specifically. Seth MacFarlane doing the voice of Ted. Of course, he does pretty much like every voice on Family Guy, so you're used to his voice. Not as distracting as I expected it would be. I thought that all I would be able to see was Peter Griffin, for example. But even though in the trailer, that's all that you can really think of, it definitely settles in after a while, and you're like, okay, this is Ted. Separate character, it's all good. And I'm going to talk about the other people in the cast in just a moment. I don't want to give away any spoilers. I don't know what's considered a spoiler because, like I said, I didn't know what the plot was exactly going in. So I'll talk about that in just a minute. But overall, I enjoyed Ted. I actually had fun with it. I thought some of the jokes fell flat. Like I don't know, there was like some fart jokes or, you know, I don't remember if it was poop jokes or fart jokes, whatever it was. Like the toilet humor, I wasn't really a fan of. And not that I'm, you know, toilet humor, I'm above it. I'm fine with that. But when that's all you've got in your movie, I hate it. This was not all that was in the movie, but anytime it was part of the movie, I just wasn't really feeling it because I thought that it could have been, you know, I thought the rest of it was a little more intelligent. So it was like, why are you going back to fart jokes? Unless maybe that's kind of Seth MacFarlane's point, is that it's intelligent stuff and stupid stuff. I don't know, but I just wasn't a fan of that. Everything else actually worked, though. So now I'm going to talk about some spoilers from Ted. If you haven't seen Ted, please wait to watch the rest of this review. Go check out the movie, and then you can come back and see what I had to say. But let's talk spoilers. Here we go. So the first thing I'd like to say is, like I said, I didn't know what the exact plot was going to be, and it ended up being about the whole kidnapping thing, and I thought that was really cool, and I was impressed. Not that it was a majorly huge revelation of incredible plot, but I was impressed basically just because I was under the assumption that it was going to be just the antics of the bear. So I was glad that there was something else to it. And there was actually peril, you know, towards the end. And so I was kind of not on the edge of my seat, but I was like, uh-oh, what's going to happen? And then I didn't know if the bear could die. I didn't know what was going to happen just because I don't know the physics of a talking teddy bear or the science behind it. So that was also kind of interesting. I didn't know what angle they were going to go with, which it ended up being lame. Brought it back to life. I thought that was lame. They should have actually killed it, I think. But maybe I'm too morbid. I thought Giovanni Ribisi did a great job. He has this hilarious dance scene, which is very disturbing, but very funny. I thought he was very good, though. Once again, kind of silly for the movie, but it worked and it was good. And the big thing that I wanted to talk about with actors is the amount of cameos in this movie. The first one that just popped into my head is Ryan Reynolds. It was great because he barely spoke, so I thought that was actually hilarious. Then we've got Sam Jones. I never watched Flash Gordon, ever, so unfortunately this went right over my head, but I could appreciate for anyone that watched Flash Gordon, this must be the funniest movie of all time. Also, Norah Jones, it was kind of cool that she was in it, and Tom Skerritt, that was very funny as well. Lots of funny cameos, so that worked too. I guess that's kind of a Family Guy type of thing as well, because they do have, like, animated cameos, but I thought that was pretty funny. And overall, I enjoyed Ted. I will probably forget about it, but for the time being, I thought it was funny, and I was surprised and glad that it was not as bad as I was expecting from the trailers, because I really thought it was going to be awful from the trailers. Really bad trailers, for my taste at least. But yeah, it was actually fun, and I enjoyed myself. So, let me know in the comments what you thought of Ted. Let me know what you were expecting going in from the trailers. Were you like me, where you thought it looked awful from the trailers, or did you think it looked hilarious from the trailers? Let me know what you thought of the different cameos and stuff. Did you watch Flash Gordon? But please put a spoiler tag, because I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. You know, you be the judge, I guess. But let me know what you thought of that. Let me know what you thought of any of the cameos. Let me know anything you want about Ted, and that's pretty much it.
I look stupid.
No, you don't. You look dapper.
John, I look like something you give to your kid when you tell him grandma died.